I wanted to try something special because Stugotz and Greg and Dominique are all in this room with me now. We've summoned Dominique. We've called him up. And I called him up because I wanted to assemble a council of dads.
Dads.
I just put Violet into the beginnings of martial arts classes.
Nice.
And we're at this point in which I'm like finding it adorable and I want to see her in a little gi and all that stuff. And I'm realizing that I got to make some calls about like what is my involvement in my child's sporting life. And Dominique at dinner last night told me an important development in his own.
Coaching my son's flag football team, something I always said I would never do, is never coach my kids' sports, but I'm coaching his flag football. Yeah.
Are you just the D coordinator? Or?
I don't
The
know.
HC,
We'll
huh?
see. Nah, we'll see.
You got to be the HC. Was there an expectation because you played in the NFL? All the parents thought, hey, Dominique's got to be the coach of
That's
this
why
team, right?
I've always said I'm never going to coach any of my kids' sports, is because, like,
That's pressure, man.
it's not even about the pressure as much as it's like, I just don't want to be in that role, but I'm now in that role. And so, as I do, I'm taking it very seriously, and I don't care as much about the development physically as much as I do like the other stuff, you know, like
Winning.
no, I mean,
What do you
so
mean?
that's the tough spot is
What's the point of playing?
I feel like I should win, but I also want them to know that I don't care if we win or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is, that's me now, and my wife has pointed out as soon as I get out there, that's the reason I'm coaching, is because she said I needed to coach the team, so I'm coaching the team because he's switching schools, and she wanted to keep his, like, he has a really good group of close friends that she wanted him to stay in contact with, and using me as the coach was the lure to get them all to stay together. But they're going to be really disappointed because I'm not trying to breed no NFL players. Like, let's just have fun and be kind to each other. But then as soon as one of these random
Dominique.
washed up high school guys who are coaching the other team beats my team and starts talking, we are getting intense.
As
That's
soon
what I'm
as
talking about.
as
They'll be
soon
running
as-
gassers. I mean,
As soon as Dominique spies a Greg or a Stu across the sideline,
And you will.
He's gonna snap into the version of himself that he just said he wanted to go to church to escape.
There's different ways this can play out, though. Like, if your son is, like, the best player on the team, that's when it becomes difficult for you. If your son isn't and he's middle of the pack, maybe even bottom, then it's an easy gig. Because, you know, it gets difficult when your son is, like, the best, because then you want to play the best kid the best, and then it's like, but, your son is playing the most. It's awkward when...
But you have to set the expectations with your child if your child is indeed good enough. Chris, it's a great point because you have to tell your child, hey, don't give me a reason to bench you. Like, you have to work 10 times harder than everyone else so no one looks at me cross-eyed. Like, none of the other parents. Like, you have to be able to go out there and play at this level. Otherwise, I'm going to have to sit you.
You coach Chris, right? And he was obviously the best player on all the teams. So
One of them.
Among the best. Never the fastest. But
You never let them know, right, Greg?
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
Fast
But
break.
faster than you
Did
think.
not have to do that.
For the record, faster than you think.
I think one of the strategies, though, when you're coaching your own kids
Is yell, go to the ball,
And it's
whatever
pretty
color
good.
jersey they're wearing.
Well, they're blue. Go to the ball, blue.
That was Greg Cody coaching method. Whatever color the jersey is, go to the ball.
Oh, dads love yelling colors out loud.
Yeah, that's right. Blue. You know, we got blue uniforms. What else am I going to say? You know.
I actually think that's bad coaching. Like, in what sport do you have to tell the kids to go to the ball? Don't they all know? Because at least in watching
Soccer.
watching my daughter's soccer team, the hard thing to coach them out of.
You don't want all of them running to the ball.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Like,
Terrible
the
coaching.
The instinct is to go to the ball. So, like, I noticed that the thing that they need to work on more than
Not
anything
going to the ball.
is, like, spread out.
Yes.
Understand offensive spacing.
Space the
floor.
Yeah, and the same thing with my
Use
son's
gravity.
basketball team. I coached his basketball team for 2 practices because their coach wasn't there, and that was the hardest thing. By the end of the practice, I was just celebrating kids who would run to the corner. Get to the corner, get to the top,
Spacing.
move around,
Be like PJ Tucker.
hit your spots, because otherwise they're just running around, just flopping into each other.
Well,
It's
listen,
bad.
Christopher, I say go to the ball, blue, but my second favorite thing to yell as a coach was separate. Because
Kind
all
of contradicting yourself.
Yes.
Well,
Make up your mind, coach.
No, go to the ball means
But Dad, you're yelling that out loud. You're not saying, hey, specific player, go to the ball. You're just yelling, go to the ball, Blue.
but they know where it is.
Little
Like,
Johnny in center defense is now running all the way.
I'm imagining a beautiful Lionel Messi style through pass
Lift
that
and separate.
the right wing has to go to the ball, and he's just standing there admiring the pass. That's when I say, "Go to the ball, Blue." I could be saying his name,
Right, but
I
you don't
just-
know it, right?
No, I do, but I don't want to single anybody out for criticism.
When I go to like my son's games, he's played flag football for a while, and the parents on the sideline are hyper competitive, and that I am not. It's like I want the kids to have fun, and they are always like critical of the coaching, and then they all lean over to me like, "Hey, they need to do something." Like,
Right.
you don't know. What
You
the
need to
hell
stop
you're
that
talking
right
about.
there.
People
No,
can-
no, no.
They come with
Again,
X's and O's.
This is all about front end conversations. You tell the parents, hey, I'm out here, I'm coaching. Don't you dare tell anyone on this team, including your own child, what to do, because it might run counter to what it is I have taught them and what we are trying to do. Don't say a word. I am doing this on my free time.
And introduce
No one is
yourself.
paying me. If you want to come out here and do it, feel free to come out here and do it. Otherwise, shut your mouth and watch the game.
I think
if
that
only that worked.
I think that may be a requirement for you headed into coaching, but I just kind of feel like generally my presence establishes that y'all need to shut up. Like I just kind of feel like
They're not going to shut up.
So it just seems so ridiculous that some dad who played high school football would be like coaching over the top of me. Like I just don't think that they have the guts.
But that's I believe that it's exactly the opposite. They have been waiting their entire life to prove that they could out football NFL players.
Oh yeah, the coach on the other sideline, he raises his game because
Yes.
you're over there,
Right.
You know, or at least he does in his mind. You know, we're gonna
Oh yeah,
kick the ass.
he's drawing up plays. He's
Your
throwing in
team is now a
terminology.
target. You know that, right?
yeah, NFL hotshot
Talking
over
about
there.
Veer.
But also, some of the best players are bad coaches. So, like, we're just kind of dismissing these people that were washed up high school stars, thinking like, "Yo, you know what? They're not going to beat me." But they could be like great offensive and defensive
Bill
minds. They just
Belichick.
didn't have the abilities. No, he was good in the NFL.
I think what is the most frustrating thing is like how seriously they take it. And that's something that I don't want to do, but I think you believe I'm going to.
Because
No, I mean,
Dominique,
'cause I think
Dominique
that
does this.
parts of
Dominique
things that-
loves doing this.
Okay.
You love to say that I am not competitive.
No, I don't say it. Okay, go ahead. Finish.
You said it earlier in this segment.
Didn't you used to compete against people on Peloton?
Yes. Dominique
I did not
does
compete
not
against
suffer,
people on Peloton.
But you do not suffer challenges.
I beat the dog shit out of
There
people
it
on
is.
Peloton. It's different.
You talked about racing someone on an electric bike that you didn't know was an electric bike.
And I won.
I remember being told a story of you racing someone behind a building in D.C.
Cooked them.
Sounds a little competitive, Dominique.
Well, it's not competitive if there's no competition.
And I never say that I'm not competitive. That's not the thing I'm saying.
I think
but
you said
do-
it earlier this segment.
That was not me. I do sincerely believe
This is him.
that there's something different about coaching kids sports. Like most kids are not going to play professional football. Most kids are not going to play college football. Like I think the important thing about youth sports is like you use it as an opportunity to, and like, that's what my dad did. He didn't coach me playing. I remember being 6 years old and I told my dad I wanted to be a professional football player when I grow up. And he was like, all right, well, you should do something to get you closer to that goal every day. And at the time, I was like, yeah, my dad believes in me. But what actually was happening was he was like, all right, this is what the kid cares about. Let's instill some lesson in him. And I want to do that with the kids that I'll be coaching. And that's my goal.
I
And
have
also
stu-
whip some ass.
I have Stugotz as Richard Williams. I have Stugotz as Earl Woods.
What happened to us splitting up?
Yeah.
Because like we teased this 2 versus 2 thing,
Right.
And it's just now there's 4 of you and they're talking.
This is
We're-
one of our
we're-
segments.
We're
I
getting
mean,
along.
You guys, Stugotz and
Oh,
Greg
no,
Houghton.
this is ours.
I mean,
We claim
you
it.
and Dominique weren't getting along.
We're claiming it. This is us.
we outsourced our first segment.
I have Stugotz.
We
Stugotz.
win.
I remember talking to one of the DraftKings executives at Moss Miami.
Yeah.
And he said that his memory of you was you stalking up and down lacrosse sideline,
I'm a stalker, yeah.
holding a lacrosse stick.
I
Like you
walk
were
a lot,
actually
yeah.
menacingly holding a lacrosse stick as if you two were playing.
I always had a stick in my hand. Listen, we started having success, and I had the stick in my hand, and I'm very superstitious, so I just kept a lacrosse stick in my hand at all times. I would throw it occasionally. I would break it occasionally. I'd
I've
get
got
a
you
new
throwing
one.
it like a javelin.
I've done that. I mean, I just throw, and I'm never mad at the kids. I'm always mad either at myself or usually at the referees.
Yeah, that seems right.
That's or parents. I mean, but never the kids.
I don't want to do coaching like play to play. Like I would like to have someone else do the play to play.
You want an
coaching.
OC.
And yeah, OC, DC, and I'd rather just like do substitutions and pull out an individual kid and be like, look, see what you should see in this moment, and then send it back in. Like that's what I imagine.
You know
myself
you
doing.
can't build out a full staff for a kids team.
Says who?
I love you. I got my OC, got my strength
I
coach.
already got people assigned. So the guy who coached their team last year, he's in. One of my college teammates played professional football. He's in. Another one of the kids' dad played pro ball. He's in. We got a big. So we'll see how committed they are.
Are you guys gonna have like the same polo shirts and stuff?
I refuse. So like they had
Headsets.
The team that they had.
Headsets.
Yeah,
The
you
team
have
that
to.
they had last year, they all had. The kids had jerseys and the coaches had matching jerseys. I think they're going to do the same thing, but I refuse to wear a jersey.
Why?
I don't know. I don't think I should wear a jersey.
You gonna make them watch film, dry erase boards, anything?
No.
If you're gonna coach. Let's go, man.
Really?
Yeah, don't outsource the coaching.
I'm not- no,
Get
I don't-
involved.
I'm
the
going
kids
to-
want to feel like you're in it with them.
I
man.
will be. I would
That's why I
like
held
to
a
be
stick.
more one-on-one in my coaching. Like I think that's where I would prevail, and I think I just want to talk to them about being, because they do a lot of making fun of each other, which is cool, but also like let's be positive, let's lift each other up, that sort of stuff.
So whose
But
show is this right now?
it's-
Is
I
this
feel
young
like
and
I'm-
smarter or older?
Older.
Don't try to divide us.
It's our show.
So we're sticking together? Are we just blowing up the whole plan?
Should we flip a coin? Do you want to flip a coin? Is that what you want to do?
I mean, that seems fair. Who has a coin nowadays, though?
No, I don't think so.
I don't have a coin.
Good point.
All right,
Around
number behind my back, even or odd, Stu.
YouTube.com/LeBatard.
But you could also change the number. Okay, so we'll just trust you.
Yeah.
Why don't you trust him?
Yeah.
Here,
that's
I'll
fair.
stand over here so you
Yeah,
guys can see
the
it.
camera
Okay.
team
Oh,
loves
good,
that.
good call.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
And his
You got a
headphones out.
50-50
Okay.
chance here,
All right.
Stugotz.
All right. I'll go even.
You nailed it.
Wow.
That was a
Great.
great payoff.
All right.
Good job.
Are you
You
guys?
can also see the reflection.
So
off
we
the
have
glass.
2 segments to
Are
go.
you
One
kicking
segment down.
or receiving?
We'll take the ball. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
we
take the
want-
ball.
All right, Pablo, Dominique, out of here.
You want to take the wind?
4 seconds.
We'll take a quick break and then we will reconvene.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Greg, I want to get back to coaching your kid, but I also want to start a fantasy football podcast. I do. I'm not looking at Billy when I say this because Billy's going to be outraged for even floating this idea, but I need a name. I need a name for the fantasy football podcast because I am tired every fall, like where we look at the podcast rankings and you see these fantasy football shows all, creep into the top 10. They're going to go away once the season starts. But there is popularity with fantasy football, and so I therefore want to start a podcast, a fantasy football podcast. Would you like to co-host with me?
You know what? That would be an interesting proposition. Let me take that up at the next
An
board meeting.
interesting
and
proposition,
Yes.
so no.
we're
Yes. The great Matthew Cherry. I mean,
You have a football podcast. You could just have a fantasy segment on.
that's fair, but I'm thinking a full fantasy football podcast,
God bless fantasy football just was blurted out in the back of the room.
We're off to a good start, okay? Billy, I'm sorry. You don't have to produce it, but your point is a good one. I do have a football show with you every single week.
That, by the way,
where I could address fantasy within that show. Yes.
that's going to be twice a week during the football season. So
Okay.
we'll have more time to discuss fantasy football.
Great.
So you need a good name.
Yes.
Fantasy Podball.
That's it.
We're spitballing. No bad
Okay.
ideas.
Fantasy Stew Ball. I think that it has to have the word fantasy in it. Can we all agree with
No.
that?
It does.
No.
Yeah, it
Yes.
has
Are
to.
we sure
I
about
think
that?
so.
100%.
Yeah.
Podball's not bad, though.
Yeah, fantasy Podball.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not good, but it's also
It's
not
going to be all downhill from there.
It's
That
not
was
bad.
that was my my gift to you.
So I think I was feeling what you were feeling. By the way, at Stugotz790 on Twitter, I need names for this, okay? I do. I'm serious about this. I think you were feeling what I was feeling when we were talking coaching with Dominique and Pablo. I can't stand the coach who's like, hey, it's not about winning and losing. I want to teach the kids, tell them how to do it right, teach them life lessons. No. Coaching is all about winning and losing. Is it not?
I think you can do it all in your philosophy of coaching. I think you can want the kids to have just nothing but fun. You want them to learn.
You know what's fun?
And you
Winning.
want to win.
Yeah. Winning is fun.
But that is the lesson. The life lesson is, hey, you don't always win. It stinks when you have a really good team because then they don't learn that.
Right. But you're more apt to have fun on a winning team. That's just human nature. You're more apt to have fun on a winning team. So if it's all about fun,
But you don't want the
then it
kids.
should be a lot about winning as well.
You don't want the kids to think that I'm with Dominique in theory, but you play to win the game.
Right.
winning,
See how much fun those kids are having after they lose 15-1.
Winning
Is there ice cream after?
Listen, winning is more
No.
fun than losing.
No.
That's all.
No.
And that was always my rationale. Winning is more fun than losing. It's as simple as that.
Groundbreaking.
I mean, but that is the rationale for wanting to win. I remember when you started off in soccer, I think 5 years old, 6 years old, whatever it was. Oh, we don't keep score in this league. You know what? We may not keep score. I did. I knew whether or not we won.
That is true. I was doing that with my daughter's team. Like,
Yeah.
They're like, we don't really, there's no records. It's like, I know our record.
Right, exactly.
Right.
I kept track of who scored all the goals. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Of course, that was, I'm always been like that and as far as keeping stats and everything about everything. But, yeah, you want to win. There's no shame in wanting to win. That's the thing.
Right.
Some people want you to make you feel guilty if you say openly, I want to win.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you would know the score of all the games?
Yeah.
Do you
Oh,
think the
yeah.
other coach was keeping track as well?
Hell yes.
Right. Would you remind him when you won?
No, I didn't go that far.
Why?
Yeah, maybe
That's taking it too far.
Maybe there's a little bit more of a strut in my gait as I'm walking to midfield to shake hands
Right.
afterward. But
right.
I
A
just-
strut that suggests that you won, that you
Right.
kicked his ass.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I guarantee you, if the coach on the opposite sideline is an former NFL player, and I beat him,
Right.
yeah, I'm going to be about 7'5" tall when I walk to midfield to shake his hand.
7'5".
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
What did I
gotcha.
say?
I don't know.
Yeah.
7'5" tall.
Yeah, that
But-
just was the worst.
But I'm
possible
glad
way
you
to say
brought this up because my kids they go to sleepaway camp. Now, when I went to sleepaway camp, color war was everything. The most competitive thing I've ever been involved in. Okay, it was blue and buff. I don't know why buff. It should have been
Buff?
yellow. Yeah, it's a weird color, blue and buff. But
Wait, buff's a color?
buff is a color.
Why
It
not
is.
red?
It's like it's a yellow because the camp colors were blue and buff.
Oh, okay.
What do you
Buff?
want from me? I didn't own the camp. The Sobels
Like,
did.
I knew you didn't say. Okay.
I didn't
Terrible
know buff was a
color. Terrible color.
It's a terrible. No one wanted to
It's
be
like
on
the
buff.
worst shade of yellow you can imagine.
I know,
Really?
like Pablo is wearing buff today. That would be considered buff.
The color of
Mustard
sand.
yellow,
Like
right?
desert sand.
Right.
Cub Scout colors.
Can't tell if that was trash talk or not.
It's a nice shirt, but it's buff, right?
It's a shacket.
It's a jacket. Okay.
A
sorry, bud.
shacket.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Take it back now, y'all.
I mean, it's obvious what it means.
Yeah,
guys.
shacket, but-
Your son is
You-
Chris Cody.
exactly,
You
Jesus.
don't understand what a shacket is?
No, I would refer to it as a jert, JRT.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, instead of
Dominique,
jacket.
they're good at this.
What are you
They're
doing
too good
there?
at this.
Yeah.
Half shirt, half jacket.
Right.
I'm making it half jacket, half shirt. Jert.
It repels water, that jerk.
Yeah, you save
It's
a
water
syllable.
wicking.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're going for a jerk joke.
Well, my nana, my grandmother, used to always say in life when I was talking too much.
Is
she'd
this
say,
Ellie?
in life you only have so many words before you run out.
Right.
She would say that when I was talking to her.
Nelly Doogie?
Yeah.
Wise lady, huh?
Yeah, she was a wise lady.
So
Yeah.
Stu says jerk, and that brings up Nelly?
One hop
I
this
forget
time.
how I got to Nelly Doogie.
It is a little hot in here.
What age does youth soccer stop sucking?
Never.
Like, because at the beginning,
It's the worst.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's like a huge huddle of kids all just trying to kick the ball.
They're
at the
going
same
to the
time,
ball.
and it doesn't go anywhere. And you just see like this mass of people moving back and forth, and the ball never leaves that group, and there's never any goal scored. So like, when in the development of youth soccer do they actually start playing soccer?
We just saw soccer played at the highest level. People woke up at 5 a.m. to watch that match. I woke up at 7:15, saw the same amount of goals as they did.
Recycle.
I mean,
Yeah, you did that one yesterday.
what are you doing over there? I mean, are you helping? I mean, helping yourself. But I do love, like, I don't know where we've arrived where everyone needs to feel like they have won something. You win or you lose. If you lose, you go home and work
This is where
harder
Dominique and I
so
take the
next time you don't have that feeling, right? Because no
Right.
one wants that feeling. So in color war, for me, blue and buff, back to Camp Winookie and the Sobels, okay, it was very competitive, and we all wanted to win, and someone always won. But at my kids' camp, what they do is they have color war Goes for like 4 or 5 days. Bunch of athletic activities, right? You win, you get a certain amount of points. You lose, you get less points. But then they also have Song Fest at the very end, where each team performs 3 songs. And what this camp always does is someone wins the athletic competition, someone wins the song competition, and every single year their color war ends up at a tie. And it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
What are we teaching these kids?
Every kid now gets a trophy too.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what are they learning? If you're just getting one to participate, why are we even competing?
Right.
I agree with that at a very young age. You know, if you're 5 or 6 years old, the kid beams with delight when you give him or her a little trophy. You know, so I agree with that at a young age. But no, once you get to be 12 and older, screw that. You know, I mean, if you win, you get a trophy. If you don't win, you don't get anything except a pat on the back.
This show's called Back in My Day. Did you know that the Little League World Series now bats everybody? Like back in the day, like previous
Every
years.
inning, everyone hits.
Not every inning.
It's mass
but
softball.
It's just one lineup that the whole game. Like back in the day, it would be like you'd sub kids in. Every kid had to play in Little League World Series, but it would be late in the game. You would sub guys in. Now you bat all the guys throughout the whole game.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. It's not baseball anymore. It's a
Right
different
foot,
game.
let's stomp.
I don't believe in giving losers any sort of prize. Like,
Right.
you lost. Get to work and come back and win the next time you play again.
I agree because
I don't care what age you are.
Yeah.
You're setting a bad example. You're saying, hey, for your poor performance every time for the rest of your life. And listen, it's funny. This is funny coming out of my mouth. But the worse you are at your job, the more rewards you're going to get.
Hold on. Stugotz
That is a
telling
terrible
people to A, go to work, and B, be good at your job.
He's
My
telling
parents should
children
be
that.
ashamed of themselves for teaching me this lessons and instilling this into me at such an early age. I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now, I do not know what's happened to America's youth. I don't, and I blame the parents because the parents think it's totally acceptable to sugarcoat a loss, and it's absolutely not. Losing is losing, and you know what it does? It makes you a loser. So if you care about the sport and your teammates that much, go back to the gym, work really hard, practice, focus, come back so you don't ever feel that feeling again.
Yeah.
Teach them at an early age.
Dinners for winners.
The only problem with that philosophy,
Ridiculous. Well said, Billy.
the only problem with that philosophy is that while you're excoriating the kids for not being good enough, the parents are blasting the coaches for not being good enough. And you know what I'm saying?
No, every loss was always on me. I would take the blame for the losses and say, hey, I did a bad job. I didn't prepare you well enough, okay? But we lost. And that stinks. And I want you to remember this feeling so you know how lousy it feels when you do lose, and perhaps we'll all work harder, myself included, so we never feel this feeling again.
and that's a life's lesson.
Damn game. Mike.
That's a life's lesson.
The damn game. Mike.
I gave that speech to my kids when they were, I want to say, 9th grade. That speech. Hey, it's on me. This is on me. I need to prepare you better. But we all need to go back to the practice field and work harder. Watch tape, watch more tape, get prepared. My kids wanted to be great, okay? And I explained to them we watch tape. No, the tape doesn't lie. I mean, ask Dominique. The tape doesn't lie. If you're an athlete out there, a young athlete, you have to be willing to watch the tape and be critical of yourself if you want to get better. Don't watch your goals. Watch all the things you missed.
You got to hang tough then. Hang tough.
I was a tough coach, I got to tell you.
You watched film?
Oh, yeah.
Win the damn game. Mike.
What do you mean? You didn't?
No, but I never coached above. What's the last age I coached you? When you were like 14 or something?
Yeah.
In baseball. So I never, I didn't get to the high school level or anything like that. I was strictly a Ute coach.
You were not a great coach, though, admittedly.
No, you know what? Damn.
But he knew the score.
He was
Damn
good
right
at
I
giving
did.
the speech at the team party. He would
you.
always say, I love this next guy. I loved him like a son. Here's Chris Cody.
That's right.
He was good at the postseason speech.
Here's my philosophy of youth coaching. You got to have two. I always had an assistant coach. You got to have two coaches. I was the rah-rah guy, and the assistant coach I named, I almost said hired, like
It
I'm
was
paying
me.
him. No, the assistant coach has to be more of a nuts and bolts, X's and O's guy.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, sort of. Like,
This is the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.